Guys, it's time we had a man-to-man talk about feminism. What's the fucking problem?
Okay, well, how about the fact that feminists constantly demonize men for things that they haven't even done? Some even go as so far as to say that men are potential rapists. Some don't even like the idea of heterosexual sex, claiming it to all be, in a manner of speaking, rape. You'll even have some feminists like Julie Bendel who don't even want women to get married to men because men are horrible oppressors. And well, how about that? How about the fact that feminists think that throughout the course of human history, men have oppressed women? When in reality, there are plenty of times where individual men, no less entire societies, do down their lives in order to protect their own women and their children. I mean, is that not enough of a reason to have a problem? Okay, well then, how about the false statistics that convince people that they've done something wrong when they haven't? Is that enough? Is that enough of a reason to have a problem with feminism? Or maybe, just out of curiosity, how about the people like Lucy Moon, who are conflicted about the fact that they like getting male attention? Can I have a problem with feminism then? If not, I mean, if I had some time to think, I could probably come up with a couple of other reasons why I might have an issue, or why someone might have an issue with the ideology of feminism. Continue.
In the simplest of terms, feminism is about creating an equal playing field.
No, well, you could have fooled me.
Not female superiority, or female advantages, or female domination, though some of you pay big bucks for that. So why do so many of you lose your shit when the words feminist or feminism are brought up?
Well, for another reason, no matter how you slice it. While every feminist may not have an outright hatred of men, so much so as they'd like to see all men castrated, there's no way to deny the fact that every feminist would have a disdain for the vast majority of men they meet. There's no way around the fact that you would have to, especially if you think that men have oppressed women throughout the course of human history, and especially if you still think women are oppressed. Yeah, there's no way to get around the fact that you have to have some kind of issue or some kind of problem with men and masculinity. There's no way around that. And that's why people have a problem with it. Well, some men at least. At least I do.
Bring me some reapers.
Come on, guys, you know what I mean. Hearing the word feminist in mixed company is like more than just a turd in the punch bowl. It's like someone actually squatting over the punch bowl and dropping one in. Guys, we've all been there. A woman identifies as a feminist in conversation, and immediately the alarm bells go off. So many questions. What type of feminist is she? Confident, reasonable, third-wave feminist?
That thought has quite literally never crossed my mind.
Or a strident, Harry Pitts man-hater?
That thought has also never crossed my mind. In all actuality, my first thought is, yeah, no you're not. No, seriously, whenever a woman is like, yeah, I'm a feminist, my first thought is, no, probably not. You're probably just saying that. I mean, the moment I actually start asking you about who's going to pick up this bill, it's not you. So, yeah. No, I don't really believe most women I meet are actually really feminists. And if they do turn out to be feminists and are willing to pay for whatever food they were eating, then okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really think most feminists are bad people. I just think that they're wrong. So it's be a nice conversation to have. But in all actuality, when you press women on whether or not they are actually feminists, I'm going to tell you, they're going to pick traditional men any day of the week. So, yeah, just saying.
It's like Schrodinger's cat. Until you know for sure, that woman is both a reasonable feminist and a lunatic. And
No. And until she starts with the bullcrap and saying that women are paid 77 cents on the dollar of men, she's just a person. I wouldn't know much about her until I actually had a conversation with her, and even then, when she tries to pull it out, I'll just calmly explain to her, no, that's not the case, because X, Y, and Z. And I've explained the wage gap so many times, I don't want to go through it anymore. It's wage gap. Women aren't paid less than men for the same exact work. They're actually paid the same amount of money for the same exact work. It's that women's jobs are being compared to. I don't want to do this anymore. Just go continue.
you don't really want to find out which one, because you may find yourself on the event horizon of a black hole, conversational quicksand, where the more you try to get out of it, the more it sucks you in.
No, in all actuality, I think she might feel more that way about me than her. Even though I'm not a feminist, go figure.
Add in more confusion when it's a guy saying he's a feminist. Again, questions. Which type of male feminist is he? The kind of male feminist who's just hoping to get laid, or the activist kind who hates his own penis?
Okay, I have had that thought before, yes.
So with that kind of minefield to navigate, it's understandable why hearing the word feminist puts even the average guy who's supportive of feminism into an internal panic. What is not understandable to me are the messages and tweets I get from guys who believe that feminism is some diabolical plot by women to reduce men to vassals, groveling at their feet with no safe word. Dudes, what's wrong with you? First of all, the idea that a huge number of women are working together seamlessly, cooperating on a complex plan, denies the reality of the world, where women are far more critical of other women than men are.
I will say I do find it very interesting that the fact that, that's true, that women are far more critical of other women, and yet feminists will still blame men for that. It's hilarious. But also, just because a lot of women are more critical of other women, it doesn't mean that there aren't some women who are capable of, creating a coalition together in order to obtain their supremacy. To be fair, women have done that quite a few times throughout the course of human history. Look at, say, Sparta, just for example. Women can work together, and they don't lack the capacity to do so. They'll just be kind of snide about it every now and again. But they can do it. As to whether or not this is actually the case going on, I would say no. I think they're more useful idiots than they are, the ringleaders, but those are just my thoughts.
And where one of the big obstacles for women advancing in the workplace is other women. But clearly to some of you idiots, civil society in the working world is an inviolable manland, an ecosystem designed for men where women are an invasive species.
Well, Ed, I have to, do they actually feel that way? Have they actually said that? Have they even implied that? Or are you just, pulling things out of the air and just throwing it at me like I'm just supposed to accept it? Because that's what it seems like right now. There might be some chauvinists in the world, but I haven't seen them say anything like only men should work. And even if they think that only men should work, they still probably think that women should be taken care of, so it's still a pretty positive outlook on the way you want to treat women. I guess I'm just saying.
I get it. The world was penisopolis for generations.
Well, okay, maybe like ancient Egypt was with all their obelisks. Which, by the way, yes, an obelisk represents Osiris's lost penis. Yeah, maybe Egypt, but no, not really. Especially not when most of society is geared toward protecting women and children and keeping them safe. Especially not when you really think about it, the amount of men who been thrown to the meat grinder of war and warfare. No, not really. I wouldn't really call this world penisopolis when men are being killed by other men.
That doesn't mean it was reflective of the natural order of things. If women weren't suited to or capable of working, we wouldn't have had to work so hard to keep them out.
What the hell are you talking about? No one had to work hard to keep women out from working. Women did work, they just worked differently. Taking care of your children was a difficult thing to do when you didn't have access to TV dinners. When you didn't have access to Walmart, you had to make them blankets, and you had to make them clothes. That's why knitting is a feminine thing, because women, they had to do it to take care of their children. They couldn't just walk to the store. Over time, obviously that happened, so now you can just buy clothes all willy-nilly, but if anything, no one had to work hard to keep women out. In fact, men had to work hard to create working stations that even allowed women to participate, considering the fact that they weren't physically strong enough to do all the things that men were doing. Especially if you look at factory work, with all these different machines that, even a 13-year-old could use now. So that's what, if you look at history, that's what actually happened. It's like no one was trying to make sure that women didn't work, or were trying to make sure that women couldn't have jobs. It seemed that, society got easier so more women could work in different areas because their home life got easier over a long course of history. Or not really long, more short, relatively speaking, over the course of 50, 40 years. In the grander scheme of things, it's not a long time. To thousands of years, right? I'm just saying. But that said, Ed, I don't think you know what you're talking about. That sounds like complete and utter bullshit. It doesn't really seem like most people were trying to make sure women didn't work, because they were. And actually, no, the people who were trying to make sure women didn't work were actually trying to take care of them and give them everything they wanted in life. Yeah, go figure.
As a result, we have an unbalanced situation in the working world, where women are still being paid less than men for doing the exact same work with the exact same experience.
Sick of this statistic.
You know, a lot of anti-feminists like to scream about meritocracy. Equal pay for equal work. How is that not a basic element of meritocracy?
Ed, it is.
How can anti-fems be all about meritocracy but deny that a pay gap is a problem?
Anti-feminists deny that pay gaps are a problem because pay gaps are choice-driven. It's because women don't want to do what men do. And the women that do want to be, software engineers and work in construction, though I've never seen a woman that wanted to do it, or the women that do want to become CEOs, you want to know what happens? They do it! And then they get paid the same amount. But you want to know the thing? Here's the thing. Women don't make as much money as men because they don't have to. When you still live in a society where men will pay for most of the stuff women ask for them to pay for, they don't need to have a high-paying job. And the interesting thing about it is women that still obtain high-paying jobs, they still want men who make as much or more money than they do. So even when women mate select, they still are picking men who make as much or more money than they do. So they effectively double their fucking income by virtue of their existence. So they don't have to do what men do. And that's why. That's my very crude explanation of why a pay gap exists. Because women don't have to work as hard as men to get as much as men. Not if you're attractive, or mildly attractive at least. If you're ugly, well, I'm sorry, you gotta put in some effort.
Huh? Answer? By denying there's a pay gap at all, and claiming it's a false stat cooked up by women to take men's jobs. It's very Trumpian. I don't like it, so it doesn't exist and is an attack against me.
What? What? What are you talking about, man? Is it Trumpian? You think Donald Trump is the only person who feels that way? Dude, that's a people thing. I'm not letting you put that shit on Trump. And don't accuse me of being a huge Trump fan. I just don't like when people try to bullshit me. That's not Trumpian. That's human. That's human nature. That is how people react to most things they don't like. The fuck out of here, fucking sock man. Come on.
Honestly, painting the feminist movement as women trying to take men's jobs? Here's the thing, guys. Women aren't taking your jobs. They weren't your jobs to begin with.
Man, Ed, maybe you've met some anti-feminists who fit the bill. But I haven't. I haven't seen very many anti-feminists complain about the fact that women are taking their jobs. And maybe they are. I'm just saying, I haven't seen it, so I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about here.
They're just jobs, open to all qualified applicants. And if some employers lean toward hiring a qualified woman over a qualified man because she is a woman, so? And if some employers lean toward hiring a qualified woman over a qualified man because she is a woman, so? Employers lean toward hiring a qualified woman over a qualified man because she is a woman, so? Toward hiring a qualified woman over a qualified man because she is a woman, so?
Okay.
It didn't bother you when it was the other way around. You've become champions of meritocracy only after you lost your unfair advantage.
I will say, I do find it particularly strange that you're making the assumption that men hire men because men like men. Man, who knows? Just wrap us up, man.
That isn't a cause, it's whining. Take it from a phallic symbol. Real men embrace competition.
Yeah, like when it's fair. When you're fighting against women, which, it's admittedly saying that women aren't equal to men, but when you have to prop women up in order for them to stand on equal ground with men, you are effectively saying that women lack the capacity to stand equal to men on their own. It's, interestingly enough, insulting to both men and women. Insulting to men because they have to participate in a competition that's not fair, and insulting to women because it is basically and effectively saying that you are inferior to men. That's none of my business.
I'll try to tilt the playing field. Except maybe Tom Brady. And you know something else? The experience of being a woman is different from being a man. Sometimes specifically hiring a woman benefits the workplace with a fresh set of eyes.
Not if she has the same opinion of all the men around her.
I think by this point, the really rabid women haters can no longer hear me over the sound of blood rushing through their veins and the noisy clatter of their furious typing of outraged comments. But this is still a message to those anti-feminists. This notion that women want unfair advantages because they're asking men to stop having an unfair advantage?
Stupid! Stupid!
You know, even now, I'm still not entirely sure what exactly the unfair advantage of being a man is. Oh, I know, I'm physically stronger and taller than most women. Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about. But how are you going to rectify that? Oh wait, you mean to tell me you weren't talking about the fact that men are just biologically taller and stronger than women on average? Then what are you referring to, Ed? What advantage do men have that women don't in the workplace? I don't know. I'd like to know, but you haven't really said much of anything on the topic, so I'm just kind of lost here.
Damn, there's a lot more to this topic, but as a wise friend of mine once said, the mind can absorb what the seat can endure. I'll do another video soon about the fear of feminism actually inspired by scary feminists. I think I'll call them feminists. I don't know, we'll see. And to those spineless, stained t-shirt wearing, basement-dwelling, perpetual virgin keyboard warriors who identify as men's rights activists who will watch this video and call me a cuck, fuck you!
Well, that's the end of his video, and subsequently, the end of mine. So, if you're sitting here and you're still wondering, why do people have an issue or problem with feminism? What is the problem? Well, I'm gonna end the video at the beginning. The fact that men are constantly demonized for things that they haven't done. Case in point, this entire video we just watched. And the fact that feminists makes women feel guilty for things that they should honestly just kind of like and enjoy. Case in point, the video I did on Lucy Moon. That's why people have an issue with the ideology. And if you still don't understand it, well, then just keep watching my channel. Because, you know, we're going to be talking about this stuff. Because that's what we do here. So with that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comments below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.